encouragement from his father, James took a massive leap of faith.
Ew!
Dirty Dan. Dirty Dan. Dirty Dan. I'm Dirty Dan. I don't know what you mean. I'm Dirty Dan.
It's absolutely amazing.
I'm Dirty Dan.
Whoa, Dirty Dan.
This is gonna be a real good one. So y'all already know. If y'all been here, all the A1 day ones, y'all already know. A part of my my diet regimen. Every time, you know, I kind of eat something or we have a big back meal, y'all know what we watch. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what we be watching. So, we got to see right around here a video about this nigga Big Craig. Every star on 600 Pound Life who died. Calling them a star is crazy. I was going to say every fat nigga that died on 600 Pound Life. So I'm like, ooh, okay. You know what I'm saying? That's, no, I mean, I'm not excited for the death, but, you know, a compilation of these fat niggas and seeing, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go. I'm trying to see something. So let's go ahead and see how many of these big niggas actually died. And if this is actually right, because I know, you know, y'all be watching and y'all be fact checking and stuff. Y'all be doing backstories and shit. So, y'all can let me know if you cap or not.
There have been 15 stars of My 600 Pound Life who have either died during or after the filming of the show. And in this mega compilation of my videos, looking at each of them in depth. Starting with the fan favourite from season 1, Henry Foots, who died.
Why was he a fan favorite?
In mysterious circumstances.
47-year-old Henry starred in the first season of the show and quickly won fans over with his affable personality and his commitment to losing weight.
Move that chair.
Sit back, huh?
You don't want that? You don't want chair? Ron's on the bathroom.
A long trip.
No problem.
This was season 1. This shit look old as hell.
750 pounds at the start of the show.
Ew.
Viewers found him relatable, genuine, and his story inspiring.
3.5 years ago, I was the operation manager of a transportation company. This may look like a step down, but it's a new beginning.
He started the show for a heartwarming reason, as he wanted to lose weight in time for his high school reunion, and the show tracked him over 7 years. In that time, he managed to get his weight down to a whopping 275 pounds, less than half of what he weighed during the start of the show. But Henry's journey was not without its trials. In an unforeseen turn of events, during a skin removal surgery, Henry's heart stopped on the operating table. In a candid conversation with TLC, he recounted his near-death experience, sharing how he saw the light to take him to heaven, but decided he wasn't ready for it.
Is that how you just wake up and get ready? Wake up from your nap? That's kind of adorable. What's good, Deja? Yes, technically big people. Really, we're watching a compilation. Well, it's basically every big back that ever died on 600 Pound Life. So I'm like, oh, this is definitely right up our alley. Why not? And I'm trying to keep to the schedule because I still have stuff I need to do at 9 o'clock. And it's going to be a whole lot of shenanigans. I got a lot of games I need to play. And sorry if you've been getting a whole lot of notifications or it's been weird or I'm starting late. I did take care of my appointment earlier, got my phone fixed, all that good stuff. But yeah, I'm back and yeah, all is well. I hope your nap was good. Hope you're getting ready for your shift.
For it.
That's all right, like. It's just like having an out-of-body experience. If that was to like take me to hell, I wasn't ready for it.
This moment on the show brought him even closer to the fans who supported him. However, this would only foreshadow upcoming events. In 2012, the same year his series was aired, tragedy struck when Henry was involved in a fatal accident.
Police identified the woman killed in a horrible shuttle bus accident in the Med Center. 43-year-old Carlette Blake was pinned between the bus and a pole after witnesses say the driver passed out and lost control.
He lost control of a shuttle bus he was driving during a medical episode and tragically killed an innocent woman standing on the street. The event led to speculation online that Henry had died in the crash, but he lived for another year before his untimely demise. In 2013, he would tragically die from causes which have not been publicly revealed. The next star, however, would have a much more public cause of death, but an equally as challenging journey. Sean Milligan was one of the heaviest participants ever on the show, tipping the scales at over 900 pounds, which is around the same weight as a male polar bear. Sean's weight
Games
began
and stuff.
early in life. During high school, a leg injury confined him to his bed, and his weight began to spiral out of control
Yeah, I had a
from
very
there. His
I remember
relationship
seeing that
with his
episode.
father was
I did have a
also
really
strained, and he
productive
turned to
day.
food for
I knocked
comfort,
stuff
an
out.
issue that was further
And
exacerbated by
I'm
his
still trying to be
physical
productive now
injuries
by
and
knocking
weight
out some of
gain.
these
On the
reactions, you
show,
know?
Sean shared his fear that he wouldn't live to see his 30th birthday if he didn't make drastic changes. To this end, Sean made the brave decision to seek help, leaving his bed for the first time in years to travel all the way to Houston. From there, he hoped to undergo potentially life-saving surgery with the renowned weight loss surgeon Dr. Now Zaradan, also known as Dr. Now. If Sean's story does not serve as a cautionary tale to get help sooner, then nothing will. He was able to shed 400 of his gargantuan 900 pounds of body weight after he had moved back in with his mother in Texas.
When Sean arrived here, he was 1,003 pounds. But we started him on 800 calorie a day controlled diet, and he started losing weight rapidly. 636. So we're gonna put you for surgery.
Many people call his mother an enabler, as she was equally as
That's
unhealthy as
crazy.
Sean was prior to him
How can a
losing
body
weight. This meant
withstand
that after
all
some
of
time
that
after moving in with
gravity?
his mother, he would start to gain weight again after picking up bad habits from her. And this would be proven in 2017. Just 1 year after Sean moved back in with his mother, she would die due to renal failure or kidney failure. This obviously broke Sean, and he admitted that he was struggling to cope with the pain of losing his mother and having a strained relationship with his father.
I'm sorry to hear about the loss of your mom.
Thanks.
How you holding up with that?
Trying, doing my best.
Well, instead of losing, you gained 31 pounds. And we have to get this under control, Sean, because you need to be able to take care of yourself.
This, compounded with his addiction to food, made his weight loss journey even more difficult, but he
Yeah, I was
soldiered
just
on
thinking
and
about
kept
this.
to
I
a
was just
healthy
thinking, yeah,
lifestyle. However,
well,
it would not last
I know
long,
how it's been.
as in 2019, Sean's father made a devastating announcement. Sean was admitted to hospital a couple of days ago because of an infection. Sunday, he was having problems with his breathing. They were able to resuscitate him, and a short time later, his heart stopped. Fans of the show were devastated with the news, writing tweets with their messages of grief. Rest in peace, Sean. You're with your mother now. The next star of the show, however, would not be able to keep his weight off and would pay the ultimate price as a direct result. James King joined the show weighing in at over 790 pounds. He was completely dependent on his wife and children to do daily tasks, as his monstrous weight meant that James was unable to ever leave his bed.
Lisa.
Huh? Did you call me?
Yeah. I went to the bathroom. I need to be cleaned up.
Ew. Inspiration of a better life and encouragement from his father, James took a massive leap of faith.
Ew! That was that episode where that nigga had all the. Ew! That's that episode. We didn't catch this one. We will. Ew! It's been harder for me to catch you now, but I've been committed to your YouTube videos, and that's why I've been committed to start dropping some more content, and why I've been locking in and doing these reactions, because of wholesome people like you. Aww. You little chocolate drop you. And yeah, I'm locking in though. That's why I'm doing this now. But ew, beans. Excuse me. Nigga, that's gross. Yeah, we ain't see this episode. How do you get that? Is that Dookie? Or is that like old skin? What is that?
In a bid to get his life back on track, and decided to try and seek help. He took out a second mortgage on his house, a huge financial risk, in order to go from his home in Kentucky to Texas in order to see Dr. Now.
Kentucky.
Weight loss surgery is probably my best
Yucky.
only chance I'm gonna have to survive.
Cameras started rolling, and after his episode of the show aired, fans of the show started to call James and his wife the most delusional couple ever, and it was easy to see why, after he questioned Dr. Now's advice and fought back against his recommendations.
You don't think your weight has to do anything with your eating habit?
No, I don't.
So what do you think your weight comes from? Thin air? James, your weight is related to what you eat.
Well, he's not eating over 900 calories a day.
During his hospital stay, his wife would sneak him food and James would not stick to his strict weight loss regime, which caused many people to question his determination. This was proven when his weight would balloon from 791 pounds to 840 pounds while still being on the show in hospital.
We're trying to help you. You have not followed any of our direction. And you really believe that you're not eating very much. You believe that she's helping you and not bringing you any food. But that's not reality.
His weight caused him a plethora of health issues, including liver cirrhosis, kidney failure, and sepsis. Despite all of these issues very clearly caused by overeating, he would continue to deny it was his weight gain and overeating.
I'm gonna flood with horror games. I can't wait to get back on horror games, actually.
No, you're the one that you're hurting him, okay?
I'm not hurting him. I haven't gave him no food. I done told you that. I'm tired of you accusing me.
How do you explain his weight?
I don't know, Doctor, now, but I'm telling you right now, I have not gave him no food.
Okay.
All miracles, right?
No, it's
Then
not a
how is he
miracle.
just
His body
getting
doesn't
fat?
burn
He ain't
calories.
just getting fat just cause.
Unfortunately, James did not change his attitude to his weight loss, and neither did his wife. Dr. Now eventually dismissed him from the program after James showed a constant lack of care.
Unfortunately, James, we can't get through to you, and Lisa won't stop feeding you. And if you don't agree to spend just 5 days apart from her, then there's nothing we can do.
In 2020, James tragically died at just 49 years old in a hospital in Nashville, just 3 years after he appeared on the show. The next patient to see Dr. Now would be slightly more receptive to the weight loss, but would lose his life in completely different circumstances. Robert Buchel was on the show during the 2017 series, and his weight peaked at over 842 pounds, almost one of the heaviest contestants on the show ever. Despite this, over the course of a few months, he managed to shift almost 300 pounds. The issues would begin to manifest after Robert's surgery, after he was administered highly addictive painkillers which would cause a dark turn in his story. Despite the massive progress made in fighting his addiction with food, he would just replace it with an equally as dangerous addiction to these painkillers.
Because he didn't understand that he was addicted to them. So it was a surprise to him when we cut him off to save his life.
Robert was on these painkillers as he needed surgery to remove the excess weight, his bariatric surgery, and to remove multiple lymphedema masses. This obviously left him in substantial pain, and as a result, he grew dependent on these.
I mean, yeah, he was,
He
but
spiraled into
damn.
an addiction as he would become more and more desperate to get his hands on the drugs. At one point, Robert tore through his surgical stitching in order to reach for more painkillers. He was sent back to the rehab center, but he reportedly refused to
Hey,
even
you,
attempt to exercise
what's
without
good, my
use of
boy?
painkillers.
My leg is
What's
not
good,
moving.
Crunk? How you feeling, my G?
Wanting to do this problem.
Just stop with the excuses. Every time you bring it up, you just go back there. I can't get up.
You feeling, my guy?
Well, you can't.
Just 5 months after filming,
Yeah, just cooling and vibing and cooling. Knocking out some of these reactions before I get into some late night negrosity.
James L.B. Bonner, a man from Lexington,
What you got going
South
on?
Carolina. Unlike most stars of the show, L.B. was well liked by viewers for his positive outlook on life and determination to shed the pounds. During his weight loss program, he would often reach out and thank fans for their ongoing support, something we don't usually see from My 600 Pound Life stars. LB's story was quite different from the other stars too, as he had his right leg amputated below the knee as a result of an unfortunate quad biking accident. Due to his massive size, he found walking extremely difficult, as his prosthetic leg was unable to support his weight for long periods of time, leaving him practically immobile. The constant pain of walking with this much stress on his leg was difficult for him to deal with, Reflecting on this, LB comments, "There are days where I just feel so worthless. I think I'd be better off in the ground, so I just stay home and I don't go out." LB also suffered with his mental health, often remarking on how his social anxiety prevented him from leaving the house anyway.
I hate coming to grocery stores because I feel like 20 minutes after I walk in, I'm going to have a damn panic attack.
Because my whole life I've always been, one of the biggest people everywhere I've went. Then you add the fake leg into it, and I'm a 6'4" bald pirate. Of course people are gonna look.
LB
Bald
used food
pirate.
as a coping mechanism, eating and drinking the calories to calm him down. Solely relying on his mother's help for everything, LB was desperate to turn his life around. Before visiting Dr. Now in Houston, LB weighed a whopping 642 pounds. Dr. Now placed LB on a strict calorie deficit diet, which LB followed willingly and was able to undergo the weight loss surgery to continue the program.
You show me that you're willing to work hard to do this, so I think you're ready, and we'll go ahead and pre you for weight loss surgery.
I definitely wasn't expecting to hear that, but that's awesome news.
He regularly exceeded his weight loss goals to Dr. Now's delight. In one of his weigh-ins, LB lost over 100 pounds in 2 months, exceeding his goal of 80 pounds.
I know for sure I never want to be the person I used to be when it comes to food or alcohol again. I never want to fall back into that.
His positive outlook was refreshing to see, as many other stars of the show either quit early or made up excuses as to why they weren't losing any weight. LB was inspiring and sent the right message to viewers of the show. Nearly a year in his weight loss surgery, LB's life had already improved dramatically. He'd got a new prosthetic leg making it easier to run, and he'd started to be more independent. His episode ends with an uplifting message.
My future ahead is bright.
You already
I'm
know.
excited
You already know,
about it.
cuz.
And I
You on
can't
timing
wait to see
tonight.
what it holds for me now.
As the show ended,
Tay and Breezy
LB
already getting
continued
a
his weight
little
loss
warm-up
journey,
in.
getting as low as 200 pounds. He also shared this Facebook post to thank fans for their support. It was clear from this post though that LB was struggling with his mental health, and fans began to worry. Within a few days of posting this message, LB had tragically passed away on the 2nd of June 2018 at the age of just 30 years old. He was found with a gunshot wound to his head in a park ditch near his home in Lexington. Fans were heartbroken. I'm so sad he took his life. He seemed like a really good guy. Any
What?
woman would have been lucky to have a good man like LB. LB's passing is difficult to process due to his positive attitude in turning his life around, but it's clear he was struggling with his mental health far more than he let on. In early 2020, 2 years after his death,
That
his
sucks.
family sued Megalomedia, the production company behind My 600 Pound Life, claiming that they played a part in LB's death. According to his family, LB's physical and mental health suffered dramatically post-surgery, and the producers offered little assistance. The lawsuit reads, in part, due to the rapid weight loss and lack of sufficient care, LB's teeth became loose and some fell out. His vision became impaired, and he suffered from general malaise. His family claims all of these factors proved too much for LB to handle, resulting in his suicide. LB was a much-loved figure in the My 600 Pound Life community, just as much as the next star of our show, who was in a much more recent episode too. In 2022, we
That
met
chicken
the
looked kinda
super
good.
morbidly obese Larry Myers Jr., also known as Buttermilk Biscuits, who was given the nickname after going viral for singing a song about buttermilk biscuits at a chicken restaurant. Before being on the show, however, Larry was well known as a fantastic gospel singer, something that meant a lot to him.
She on
For Larry,
Fortnite right
the
now
second
getting some,
surgery means a second
getting some
chance as a
practicing.
gospel singer. It was impossible not to like Larry, as his hardworking personality was present throughout the episode. As we're introduced
I
to
hate
him,
those
we learn
goddamn
about his
tie-dye
myriad
Nebula
of health
shirts.
problems: asthma, sleep apnea, thyroid problems, lymphedema, and depression. He is almost completely immobile, relying on his caretaker Lawrence to visit him 7 days a week to help wash and feed him. Larry's lymphedema is also an enormous struggle for him, especially in his right leg, which is almost double the size of his left as a result of this chronic disease. This makes walking extremely difficult and painful, to the point where Larry can only stand up for 4 minutes. Normal tasks that most people do every day, like having a shower, is extremely dangerous and difficult for Larry due to his size. Larry's also an extreme germaphobe, germaphobe, making sure to shower at least once a day, even using bleach to clean himself. He claims that the depression is the root of his obesity, as whenever he's not eating, he feels fully immersed in negative thoughts. Eating is his only comfort, which Larry uses as a way to escape those thoughts. Viewers of the show are surprised by Larry's openness about his condition. I give a lot of credit to this man for being so honest about this condition. His personality is evident throughout the episode too, as we don't see the typical selfish behavior with Larry that we often see with many other stars featured on the show. He seems like a genuinely nice man, and despite his weight, he's still able to move around more than most. I hope he can lose the weight and have a better life. Larry seeks out Dr. Now to change his life around, and at a starting weight of 940 pounds, he would be one of Dr. Now's biggest patients yet. He sets out on the 26-hour journey to the hospital, accompanied by Lawrence. This road trip was especially difficult for Larry.
His dad's definitely going down.
Risk he could get a blood clot, which could be life-threatening. Larry's sister actually died as a result of a blood clot, and this therefore causes Larry a great deal of anxiety. The car ride ended up taking an excruciating total of 5 days, during which Larry experienced severe leg pain, which caused him to go straight to the emergency department of the hospital. This caused great concern for Dr. Now. If we don't act fast, his life will be in jeopardy. After running a couple of medical tests, Dr. Now confirms that Larry wasn't at risk of a blood clot. The most important thing at this point for Larry was to lose the excess weight for good, in hopes of reducing his risk of multiple health problems, as he's already gained over 400 pounds over 5 years after his first weight loss procedure. Under the instruction of Dr. Now, Larry successfully follows the weight program and lost a whopping 700 pounds, a higher weight loss than some of the contestants' overall weight. Larry's positive and uplifting spirit aided his weight loss as he continued to work hard for a second chance at life and at singing gospel. Continuing to lose weight after the show ended, Larry posted a progress photo to Instagram to document his transformation. One comment wrote, "I absolutely love you. I'm so proud of the progress you've made. The whole time I'm watching, I kept saying I need to be friends with Larry." He even went on to release a book titled The Weight of Grief, one man's journey to overcome addiction and find hope, as well as becoming a motivational speaker. Unfortunately for fans though, this positivity wouldn't last forever, and on June 10th, 2023, one announcement came that would leave fans shocked. Larry passed away at the age of just 49, 3 days after his birthday. His cousin posted to Facebook, "It's with great sorrow that we announce the passing of my dear cousin Larry Myers. Many of you know him as Mr. Buttermilk Biscuits. If you can help us, we would greatly appreciate it. Larry has fought the good fight. He's overcome some of the biggest challenges he has ever had to face. Rest well, Junior, you will be missed." The cause of death was officially ruled as a heart attack in his home in Houston, Texas. So far, each of the stars we have covered have been well liked by fans, but another £600 life star with a story a little less favourable than our previously mentioned stars is Angela Gutierrez. As well as being one of the more controversial stars of the show, Angela also previously had weight loss surgery before coming onto the programme, but was unable to keep up with any sort of weight loss afterwards. While on the show, we learn that Angela reaches over 600 pounds and desperately seeks the help of Dr. Now to change her life around quickly before it's too late. At this point, Angela seems determined to lose the weight and keep it off for good, but after moving to Texas with her boyfriend, everything seems to go downhill pretty quickly. During her treatment, Angela continuously misses all of her hospital appointments with Dr. Now over a period of 6 months. Viewers quickly learn that Angela is full of excuses, blaming everyone and everything but herself. She claims that she couldn't find a way to get to the hospital, or that she was too sick to go. The infuriating thing here is that Angela could have alerted Dr. Now of these reasons before her appointments, so that he could have worked out a solution for her, perhaps arranging transport for Angela or rescheduling when she feels better. However, Angela chose to ignore Dr. Now's phone calls for weeks. Several months later, Angela eventually reaches out, claiming that she feels better, and on a video call with Dr. Now, he cuts straight to the point.
"We have a bit of an issue again. Because you missed your appointment again, saying you were sick, but turned out you weren't. So what is your excuse this time?"
She lists off a myriad of different excuses, but Dr. Now simply doesn't listen to them.
"You're more delusional than I thought if you still think you can manipulate me. And when it comes to this program, you're not special. and lying to me about your weight is not going to get me to tell you what you want.
One commenter's pointed out the severity of the situation. You're literally on an oxygen tank and you can't make time to meet with your doctor. It's not hard to see why Angela had gained such a terrible reputation. Several months later on the program, Angela decided that she will no longer participate in Dr. Now's program and instead claims that she's already losing weight by herself and will continue to do so at home. Well, according to her Facebook, the star passed away on March 21st, 2023. Days before her death, she posted the following on her page. Well, I'm in Huntington. Time to figure out why my oxygen wants to stay in the 70s and just reboot myself and get better. This was the best decision I've ever made and I'm doing it for my girls. It remains unclear what Angela's actual death was, but it's certain that she was struggling with her health. The next star struggled equally as much, but didn't have quite the bad reputation Angela did. One of the youngest stars ever, Ashley Randall, shares a similar story to those we've already mentioned. She grew up with an abusive mother and resorted to food as a means of escape away from the abuse. Throughout the show, viewers were alarmed with the way Ashley's mother spoke to her, as she never seemed supportive or encouraging of her weight loss journey. Viewers who had also been through similar circumstances with abusive parents commented that Ashley would never be able to live a happy and healthy lifestyle until she cut off her mother and started to live life without her. While on the show, Ashley reveals that her biggest fear is dying within a year. When she finally starts her treatment program with Dr. Now, Ashley weighs in at over 600 pounds with a target weight of 140 pounds. As she features on the first season of the show, Dr. Now's program runs a little differently to the
Definitely saddening.
as Ashley is approved for surgery straight away without the need to lose any weight beforehand. After the surgery, she sticks to the program and loses weight at every single weigh-in. Admittedly, a little slower than expected, but a loss is a loss nevertheless. She even qualifies for a skin removal surgery after losing over 200 pounds. After another year and another significant weight loss, she qualifies for
head
the
just
second
big as
weight
hell.
loss surgery, removing almost 100 pounds of excess fat and skin. As the episode draws to a close, Ashley continues to lose weight gradually on her own, getting closer each day to a dream of opening a nursery and being able to look after children. Once the show had finished, Ashley's father sadly passed away, and in her grief, she gained over 100 pounds. Despite his death, she revealed that she wasn't ready to give up on her weight loss goal yet. But unfortunately, Ashley's body became septic and she ended up passing away after fighting a terrible infection. Her family reported that she encountered a number of additional health problems contributing to her death, even developing pneumonia. Ashley's story is incredibly tragic, especially as she was so close to her weight loss goal despite numerous setbacks. The next and final star of part 2 was almost as controversial as Angela Gutierrez, but for different reasons.
I just lay here all day and wait for food.
Claims our next star, 27-year-old Destiny Lachey. Destiny struggles with depression and turns to food for support, a regular occurrence for a lot of the stars on My 600 Pound Life. Despite this, Destiny knew that her habits around food that brought comfort to her were also threatening her life.
My situation is at a breaking point. I need to get help. I need to be able to lose this weight or they're gonna be burying me next.
Destiny also has a traumatic start in life, as her mother gave birth to her when she was only a teenager herself. So Destiny was placed in foster care and weighed as much as 150 pounds by the time
Gotta watch it, health as well.
Viewers also learned that Destiny's brother had also passed away, something which she deeply struggles with and is a cause for her weight gain. One commenter shares their similar situation, pointing out how the stress of a loved one dying can cause you to resort to eating for emotional support. Sorry about your brother. My brother was murdered in 2013 and death contributed to my depression that led to my weight gain. Destiny also mentions how she's afraid that if
Not gonna hold you. A lot of people grieve in different ways because I too lost my brother. But my older brother when I was 9 years old. But for me, I didn't gain weight. I was already kind of fat, but like I didn't gain weight. I actually like lost. I started gaining weight like when I was a teenager type shit after a while. But everybody processes things differently. That's one thing, because like whenever I'm like mad or whenever my emotions are like overwhelming to me, I can't eat them. I can't do shit but just like just like, I don't know, I just ball up. Well, I don't ball up. I just keep everything on the inside, and I just like, I don't know, I just shut everything out. And I deadass went mute for, I didn't talk for like a whole year, like from like 9 to like 10. Well, maybe like, I don't know if it was like exactly 9, but it was like for like almost a year, I deadass would not, I was unresponsive. I was still coherent. I wasn't like taught-ed or anything, but I just refused to speak. I didn't feel like speaking, because I felt like every time I would try to open my mouth, I would get like choked up and I feel like I was getting ready to cry, or I would just get overwhelmed every time I get ready to speak. So I just stopped speaking for a long time. Like a fucking monk.
She loses weight, she will also lose her curves and her breasts, and says that since gaining the weight, she's felt more feminine. Destiny's weight loss was also crucial to her journey as a transgender woman, as she needed to lose a substantial amount of weight to be approved as a candidate for gender-affirming surgeries. All of these factors contributed to Destiny's weight gain, but now, as her quality of life has deteriorated, she no longer feels happy with herself, and she seeks the help of Dr. Now to start her weight loss journey. The appointments give Destiny a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, but I'm talking now.
Fixated on making sure
It's all
she's
good.
lost the weight
I still see him every day. He's right here, actually.
Thanks to her motivation,
not on no creepy
Destiny
shit like,
lost the
what
initial
do you
weight
mean?
to
Like, I have a
qualify
picture
for
of
weight
him.
loss
Not
surgery,
on no
losing
creepy
over
shit.
500 pounds across the duration of the show. Unfortunately, her mental health issues persisted, despite her massive achievement. And in 2020, Destiny filed a lawsuit against the production company behind My 600 Pound Life, claiming that the production's treatment of her during filming
His birthday is
made
actually
her
coming up.
suicidal. She alleges that she was taken advantage of and exploited while she was dealing with emotional distress from her brother's death. On social media, however, Destiny posted her journey and shared inspirational messages. We fall, we break, we fail, but then we rise, we heal, and we overcome. However, in February 2022, Destiny's other brother announced to Facebook that she'd passed away. While no cause of death was officially given, it's likely Destiny had committed suicide due to her battle with mental health. We first meet Gina in season 8 of the show in 2020, where she weighed a staggering 606 pounds. Her weight and approach to self-care started to put a lot of strain on her home life, with her mother and her wife having to beg Gina to take a monthly bath.
I would just
The
like,
problem
well, of
seems
course you're
stem
gonna,
from when she
you
was
kind
just a
of never
child,
really.
with Gina admitting that her childhood
Well,
was
you get it.
extremely tough, with her explaining that her father was physically and
Delusion is
emotionally
cute to
abusive,
these.
going as far as to punch her in the face.
These
She claims
people.
her sister got all of the attention from her parents during her childhood, and this led to intense feelings of jealousy towards her. This in turn led Gina to find other ways to comfort herself, and the answer in her eyes would be food. She explains that at pretty much every opportunity she would eat in order to feel better, and by the time she was 10 years old, she was already 150 pounds. Her mother,
At 10?
who she's still around quite a lot, has revealed that she feels like she failed as a mother. If Gina threw a tantrum because she wanted food, instead of fighting her on this, she just gave in and gave her the food. This is something that has affected Gina all the way into her adult life, as we'll see later the way she treats her wife on things as simple as ordering food. Gina's weight started to spiral out of control as she was trapped in a vicious cycle of being bullied at school, which led her to being more troublesome at home. This in turn led to more abuse, which led to more eating. As she got older and left home, the abuse stopped, but the eating didn't, and this has led her to become fully dependent on her wife and family to bring her food, as she can barely leave the comfort of
He
her
had to say it like that.
The worst part about Gina's situation is that her whole family is massively overweight, and it seems like they all enable the behavior of each other. After Gina's
Damn.
wife, Beth, finished a long shift at work, the overweight family huddled around the
The overweight family huddled. You gotta use different choice of words, my boy. You gotta use different choice of words. You gotta. He know what he doing. You gotta use different choice of words. The overweight family huddled. Like how much you think they weigh collectively? Like the whole house, like the whole family.
phone as Gina called Beth to ask what she was going to do for food, despite 4 people being there and fully able to cook. However, they tell Beth to collect fast food, and after Beth says no, this is how Gina and the family responds.
Can you go to the diner and pick up us some food?
No, we have food at home. I can cook at home.
You're not gonna cook this late.
I can.
What's the big friggin' deal? I don't get it. Just go.
Wait, you gotta call it.
No, you're gonna call because I You have to call.
Evidently, something
Excuse
needed
me?
to change, as Gina's life is genuinely in danger to her massive weight, and something did change. She eventually set up a meeting with Dr. Now in the St. Joseph
An
Medical
expedition
Center in Houston,
on
Texas.
30s.
Gina and Dr. Now had multiple meetings throughout the year that she was on the program, which is ample time to lose.
Like, you can't be big and aggressive. You can't even do nothing for yourself. What you gonna do? Sit there and waddle and be angry? You better chill the fuck out. You better be big and look at that. You wanna? Oh my God! Now I'm about to fry your big ass up.
Shocking, and by the end of the
You
year,
got the
she was ready
nerve
start-
to be. You got the nerve to be. Have an attitude. You're fucking busting out the seams right here, lady. What the fuck? You got this goddamn. What is this? A hash brown on a bagel with another hash brown, and this look like, I ain't gonna lie. This look like one of the sandwiches I ate earlier. But I'm just like, bruh, huh? Yeah, I'm about to say her whole everything. This is a table, nigga. Whenever you can use this as a table, my nigga, to hold food up, like to hold food upright. Like, picture that, my nigga. You're sitting down. We're sitting at a 90-degree angle. She's at a 90-degree angle, but the rest of her body melts to the point it can become a stabilization like table, my nigga. Whenever your shit forms into stabilization, you've got a huge problem. Huge. And you got the nerve to be pushy and fat. Like, bitch. Yo, how dare you? Like, how fucking dare you, bruh? How fucking dare you? That ain't crazy. I mean, that's crazy to me. You can't do nothing for yourself, but you gonna sit there and fuss and fight and get this nigga to do whatever you want just because you ain't gonna do it for yourself. Man, I ain't gonna hold you. Yeah, call me a bully or whatever, but I'd be like, bro, what you gonna do if I don't? What are you really gonna do? What if I say no? What you gonna do? What you gonna get up and try to lock the door, lock me out? You ain't. Good luck. I'll be there before you get up. What are you gonna do? You gonna get up and hit me? Try it. I would love it. I would love to see you do it. What are you gonna do besides sit there, waddle, and get angry? And you're gonna stop talking after a while because you're gonna run out of breath. So what are you gonna do? What are you really gonna do?
Surgery. However, in a shocking moment, Dr. Now
it couldn't handle a nigga like me.
550 pounds, 50 pounds over her weight loss goal. He made a very tough but
gained
necessary decision.
So I'm canceling your surgery and we're not moving ahead with that today.
Gina was often on Dr. Now's program, but being eventually kicked off the surgery wait list may have been a blessing in disguise, as Gina
I'ma hear whatever she thinking about.
She was 100 pounds down.
Whatever she thinks she gonna do to me.
Gina posted
I'm not. I already know. Going to sleep next to her, of course, that's when I'm at my most vulnerable. She could fuck me up.
When she was on the show. However, this wouldn't last long. In 2021, she announced that she'd got to 379 pounds, but around the same time, her cellulitis had become extremely painful and started to spread, bringing on neurological issues too. And in August of 2021, just a few months after the weight loss announcement, her sister told the world that Gina had tragically died to a mysterious condition.
I'm Gina's older sister, Allie, and unfortunately, Gina has passed away.
The next star started in a similar position as Gina, but was actually successful in Dr. Now's program.
What the hell?
Ann Perez is a native of San Antonio in Texas and started her weight loss journey in excess of 600 pounds. She's not quite bedbound.
Yo, she went from that to
and help her live her life, which includes lugging around the oxygen tanks which help keep her from choking. When her husband brings her food, it's usually in the form of sweets and chocolate, which she usually has massive amounts of. She has a self-proclaimed sweet tooth and would rather—
Nigga, is that a waste basket? Is that a laundry waste basket full of fucking snacks? Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Texas is probably the heaviest fucking state. It got nothing but big backs here, and the big backs be coming from everywhere. Texas is for sure the heaviest goddamn state. We got some thick motherfuckers in this bitch. I ain't gonna hold you. Goddamn, thick as hell.
Rather eat sweet and unhealthy foods, which are obviously much higher in calories when compared to whole food meals. Laura breaks down at one point and says she wants to have a future and a life, including having a job and providing for her family, but she's worried she's going to die very soon. Before seeing Dr. Now, she claims that multiple other doctors failed to help her, so this was her final resort. She was surprisingly open with Dr. Now, admitting straight away that she knows her issue is sweets, candy, and chocolate.
I'll try to find anything sweet, like candy or a lot of cake.
Although the initial meeting with the doctor seems positive, as they all
Got
seem
some
quite cheerful,
beasts,
the dark
some
undertones,
fantastic
as Dr.
beasts,
Now
and
is
we know
certain
where to find
Laura
them.
that she will die soon if something doesn't change, and given she's diabetic and already can't breathe unassisted, this will be sooner rather than later. And quite unexpectedly, this talk actually worked. It seems like most of the 600-pound lifestyles I cover don't actually apply themselves to their weight loss, but Laura did, and more importantly, so did her husband, who stopped bringing her sweets and swapped it for vegetables. Laura exercised as best as she could and ate in a caloric
As best
deficit.
as she
And
could.
Evidently, this wasn't just for the cameras, as after
These
3
fat
months,
ass
she
bitches,
lost
man.
6 pounds, which pleased Dr. Now so much that he approved her for weight loss surgery. Despite some issues during her surgery, which was changed last minute to a gastric sleeve due to complications and left Laura with pneumonia, she powered on with her weight loss journey and lost in total a whopping 237 pounds, leaving Dr. Now's office for the final time weighing 357 pounds. Her husband, Dr. Now, and of course Laura herself were all ecstatic and extremely proud of the efforts put into losing the weight. Sadly though, this happiness wouldn't last forever, as the family would soon be left heartbroken. Despite getting down to a reported 183 pounds, which is a massive achievement and one of the show's greatest success stories, in 2021 it was announced that Laura had lost her life 9 years after the show aired. It's not confirmed what her cause of death was, as the family didn't release it and her obituary doesn't state it. However, with her diabetes and past obesity, people have speculated that it was a result of cardiac issues. Laura was a much loved figure.
Oh
People
my god.
online were quick of cardiac issues. Laura was
Bro, these are dead ass cartoon teeth. Like, I ain't saying I got the best grill, but like, those is dead ass. Like, you know, like whenever you see somebody like, you know, like on cartoon, Checkered Smile, dead ass. But you know, dead ass like on like back in the day on Cartoon Network on like Looney Tunes or some shit, where they would like say they put a stick of dynamite in somebody's face or some shit, or they eat a grenade or some shit, and they blow up in their mouth and then they teeth be out. That's dead ass what it looked like. She got like old school Acme teeth, like cartoon teeth. That's wild, bruh. Like, that's wild. I'm not like trying to make fun of fry her up, but like, nigga, your mouthpiece.
a much loved
That's
figure.
crazy.
People
That's
online
dead ass
were quick
crazy.
to share their pain. The comments on this Reddit thread are the complete opposite to the one about Lisa Fleming, who one Reddit commented the worst human ever. Lisa Fleming lived a very sad existence, enlisting her daughter and her young grandson to help her do everything, such as feeding herself and cleaning up after her. YouTube commenters have pointed out the awful situation the grandson is in, stating, "It's extremely sad that the grandson has to be subjected to this. This is just generational trauma developing before our eyes." Lisa's excuse for having a controversial attitude is that her father died when she was very young, and that because he was on life support, she
I feel like I remember this episode, but like I forgot her skin looking like that.
Drinking and partying, resulting in a teenage pregnancy for herself. She said that as long as she stayed drunk, the feelings couldn't hurt her. This would end up in tragedy though, as one day during a party at her house, a fight broke out which her brother tried to stop, and ended up with him being fatally shot. Lisa blamed herself, and so did her mother, which just added to the negative feelings. As Lisa carried on with her life, she steadily gained weight and became increasingly reliant on her family to provide for her. By the time we meet her in the show, in season 6 in 2018, Lisa weighed 700
They gotta
pounds.
smell
She
crazy.
eventually contacted Dr. Now and made the 6-hour journey via ambulance to see him. And her attitude to weight loss is very compelling, comparable to that of James King's, who's featured in my previous 2 videos. You'd think the fact that the paramedics had to reinforce the foundations of her home just so she could leave would be enough to make a change, but
Are you serious? You have to reinforce the foundations of the home? Holy shit. Hey, yo, that's a big motherfucker. Hey, yo, what? That is crazy. It looks like a chocolate puddle at the right angle. That's disgusting.
Lisa did not see it that way. She was dismissive of Dr. Now's advice.
That's
and
crazy.
pain as the doctor
You can't
tried
even
their
live in your
best to help
house
her.
because you're
When
too damn
Dr. Now
big.
questioned why she hadn't lost any
That's
weight,
also a
despite
crappy
being
ass
given
home.
a strict
Well, yes, it is a shitty home, but she also bought big as hell.
diet plan. She says that she
Or
just
maybe she should have just lived on the first floor like me. You know what I'm saying? I think the first floor is made for big backs. You know what I'm saying? You can't, I mean, you can't go any further on the ground. We on the first floor, so you know what I'm saying? That gotta be big back certified. Niggas said, get up. We've discovered a melted chocolate drop. She's a chocolate puddle.
wants a surgery and doesn't think she'd gained any weight. She even complains when she's given a 1,200 calorie diet. Despite this though, Lisa did make a good attempt at weight
That's
loss.
yuck.
However, a shocking revelation came about as the woman helping her lose weight questioned why she hid ice cream in the house, and Lisa told her it's a bribe for her boyfriend to perform sexual favors for her. After a while, it was increasingly obvious that she wasn't going to lose any weight, as she refused to give up her unhealthy lifestyle. Despite complaining daily of the pain she needed to endure, she wasn't going to stop eating and seemingly wanted an easy way out of the situation. Well, Dr. Now wasn't just going to give her weight loss surgery, so there wasn't an easy way out unfortunately, but she wouldn't have too much time to dwell on that fact unfortunately, as the show had barely wrapped up filming, and before they could even film her Where Are They Now episode, Lisa's body unfortunately gave in to the weight and she died aged 50
Come on,
in
Discord.
2018. People in Reddit comments stated that while this is a very
Rob's her
sad
boyfriend
situation
with
for the
ice
family,
cream.
it should act as a warning to
Ooh,
all
ice
future
cream.
stars of the show, proving that when
That's not
Dr.
funny.
Now says he will not live without action,
kinda funny.
he's not joking. And the next patient proves that tragedies do happen, even while in the care of Dr. Now, and the heartbreaking end of Colisa's story shows this like no other. Colisa McMillan appeared in season 8 of the show and weighed around 643 pounds at the start, although during her stay with the doctor she got it to as low as 590 pounds. Colisa had 4 children in her 20s and unfortunately had an extremely difficult life during this time, as her husband was abusive towards her. Like most of the stars in the show, she ate to comfort herself and ended up weighing nearly 400 pounds by the time she was 24. Eventually, when she was 30 years old and 500 pounds, he got arrested and she moved the family to Louisiana. However, the comfort eating followed with her. The true effects of this comfort eating wouldn't show up until she was 39, when she had a major heart attack, which actually caused her heart
If
to
I know
stop
Ray Ray
beating.
like I think I know Ray Ray,
Given the fact she was 500 pounds, Colisa was far too big to operate on. So
I
they
think
weren't
she just
able
gonna
to
be
perform
chilling.
corrective
I think
surgery
she
to
gonna be
fix
chilling.
the damage
Chill.
caused by the heart attack.
If I think-
Colisa
if I
herself
know Ray
called
Ray
her
like I
heart
think.
a ticking time bomb, which was unfortunately
Ice cream
foreshadowing a
for the
tragic
clapping.
future. Now 40
Hey,
years old in
equivalent
2020,
exchange.
she seeked the help of Dr. Now to finally change her life around, using the love for her 4 daughters as fuel to power her weight loss journey. She initially showed a good work ethic, losing 144 pounds during her stay. Dr. Now finally approved her for bariatric surgery, which presumably filled the family with hope for the future that she will finally shift the weight. However, almost immediately after the surgery, issues started to crop up. A suture, or a stitch, popped internally for Colisa and she hemorrhaged, which is incredibly dangerous internal bleeding. However, Dr. Now did emergency surgery to fix this issue quickly. Apparently after the surgery though, she never really recovered and spent months in hospital on a ventilator where more
Damn.
Apparently the show doesn't follow the correct events, but a Facebook post shared by her niece may give us a better idea on what happened to Colisa. She spent 1.5 months on a ventilator in ICU in Houston. She was partially paralyzed from that point. She developed a nasty bed sore and a UTI. She was afraid of going to the doctor doctor due to COVID. Eventually, she went to the ER where they found she was septic and her kidneys were failing. Her condition worsened and antibiotics were not effective. Within a week of her being in ICU, she passed. Reddit commenters were quick to share their feelings, with one saying,
That's
"I'm
tough.
heartbroken. I wanted so badly for her to succeed, especially considering her horrible backstory." Kelly Mason also had
That's
a troubled
tough.
background and suffered one of the most humiliating and dangerous scenes on the show when she was physically stuck in the car on the way home from the hospital. When Kelly started the show, she was 700 pounds and appeared in season 7, which aired in 2019. Growing up, she lived with her grandparents due to an absent mother and a father who had another family. However, after watching her grandfather die in front of her due to a heart attack, her mother was forced to look after Kelly. Her mother, having not much experience raising a child, allowed Kelly to binge on fast food and lead an unhealthy life, which
Get
led to
healthy or
weight
die trying.
skyrocketed. Living in North Carolina at the start of the show, she said that every single step she takes is torture, and it's getting worse by the day. Despite this, she can't knock the addiction that she has to food. When Kelly first meets Dr. Now on the show, he lists every health problem affecting her, which leaves you thinking why she hadn't sought help earlier. Diabetes, blood clots, high blood pressure, arthritis, thyroid issues, and on top of this, a recent hospital visit due to heart failure. Upon leaving this hospital visit is where the infamous taxi scene occurs, where Kelly seemingly gets stuck after falling forward in the car, leading to a team of medical workers and firefighters having to fight to get her out. Dr. Now showed his caring side with this incident as he tried to calm Kelly down as she was at serious risk of another cardiac arrest. Eventually, the team successfully got Kelly out of the van. During her time on the show, Kelly lost around 100 pounds. However, she was still left with the issue of a weak heart. This had to be fixed with increased exercise, which should help to strengthen her heart and allow it to be able to work correctly. Kelly really committed to this, and after being approved for weight loss surgery, she was able to drop around 350 pounds from her original 700 pound weight, which is a mammoth achievement. However, this was still too little too late. Kelly's final appearance before the cameras was her calling her old college professor, announcing she would be finally going back to school to finish her degree. But this would not happen, as in 2019, just 2 weeks after a final checkup with Dr. Now, she died of heart failure.
Appreciate
The
that
Reddit
time,
commenters shared
Ali.
their thoughts about how
Appreciate
much
that,
they
love.
loved Kelly, and talked about how she was a beautiful spirit who had dealt with so much throughout her life, which goes a long way to show just how loved she was as a patient of Dr. Now. And the final patient to see Dr. Now was just as heartbreaking, which was Renee Byron in season 6. Renee weighed 631 pounds at the start of her episode, and was actually a plus size model. Her life though was a constant battle with her weight, which had devastating effects
Plus size model, her stomach looked like a butt.
on her health, mobility, and overall quality of life.
Stomach
Her
looked like a
issues
whole
stemmed
ass.
Yet again from a tough childhood.
Just somebody
She turned
like
to food
you.
for comfort following a series of traumatic
She got two
events.
asses.
Growing up, she faced significant distress, particularly after her parents' divorce and the subsequent abuse she suffered at the hands of her stepfather. These early experiences set the stage for a lifetime of emotional eating and weight gain. The weight carried on piling on throughout her life, and she ended up suffering from massive swelling in her legs and feet, known as lymphedema, something a lot of the patients who see Dr. Now need to suffer through. When she finally met Dr. Now for a consultation, she was admitted to the emergency room straight away with breathing problems. This turned out not to be serious though, and the show carried on as normal, with her revealing her goal was to lose enough weight to qualify for weight loss surgery from Dr. Now. However, this would be a bumpy road, as she was diagnosed with a very rare disease known as Guillain-Barré syndrome, which causes lung blood clots, blood infections, and even cardiac arrest. Despite the challenges she faced, Renee did manage to lose 250 pounds and kept fans of the show updated through her Facebook page. However, very similar to the other patients, even though she lost a massive amount of weight, it still wasn't enough, and she died at 51 years old in May of 2021.
Damn, that's tough.
Although no cause of death was officially announced, people have suspected that her life was claimed by the Guillain-Barré syndrome, and her life was cut short just a year after her show aired. This is the final part in the 600 Pound Life's Death series on my channel, and the upcoming videos will be a lot more.
Not gonna hold you. W video had to see that shit. I ain't know all them big backs went to tragic ends like that, but you know.